So my name is Bobby D. Kawennitake Deere from Kawennitake. My mom and dad are Peter B. Deere and Shirley Deere. This is my grandparents in the picture. That's my mom's mother and father. The late Louis they called him Louis Jagup. It's actually Louis Delabos, but they called him Louis Jagup. And his family owned the store on the highway, Alphonse's store, right next to the pharmacy. My grandmother, Marie Phillips, she was a Phillips. She made wedding cakes in town. She was famous for her fruit cakes, her wedding cakes, and together I believe, I could be wrong, maybe 13 children. My mother was the eldest. She was born in 1935. And my uncles are twins, Ronnie and Donnie. They're the youngest. But yeah, that's them, my grandparents. Oh geez. So it looks like, okay, that's right there in the middle, the boy with the mohawk haircut. That's my late brother Wandy Deere. Um he passed away 7, 8 years ago now. Yeah, they all I think it was a thing with their lacrosse team or something. They had all got mohawks, and that looks like it could have been maybe grade 4. Yeah, grade 4. That looks like it might be my sister Donna, my eldest sister Donna, Governor Rorux. Um, she taught at Gardiunuha School for many, many years. She's a first language speaker, so I'm pretty sure that's her in the picture. That's my brother, my late brother Wandy, and probably my brother John next to him, up in Jorodu at the falls. No clue who the other boy might be. The little girl on the right is my sister Karina Deer. Might be my sister Marianne next to her. Probably at Flat Rocks. My dad, Peter B. Deere, the late Peter B. Deere, the legend. He's a legend in Kahnawake. I believe he had a knee replacement, and that might have been at the hospital in town. I'm pretty sure. That's my late brother Wandy Deere, the boy in the middle. And I'm pretty sure that's at the rink that used to be next to the church, maybe like where the youth center is now. That's my brother Wandy. Oh, geez, it's hard to tell where that is. It might be it might be right up the road from where our current family home is. The late Zardo Canadians, maybe there. I believe that's Marlon Kane. That looks like Marlon. Yeah. I'll probably every family had their own plot on the seaway on the river road, and so that looks like that's where it could be, because our family plot was kind of with their family plot, like our swimming hole kind of thing. Yeah, that's Marlon. I'm not sure who that is, but it's definitely at the rink by where the youth center is. There wasn't really any organized sports in Kahnawake, and my dad and the late Ronnie Kirby, they saw some kids playing hockey, whatever, one day, and they were kind of like fighting and just being kids. And my dad and Ronnie had just started putting them together for teams, and then they went out and got equipment for them. It was all like nothing brand new. It wasn't at the time, it was just for kids to play sports, and it wasn't to be like, oh, my kid's gonna be in the NHL. And they did that for years and years and years with lacrosse, hockey. My dad brought Little League to Kahnawake in maybe 1981 or something. And then they would take kids to Jorododu. I believe my dad worked for, I guess it was kind of like sports and recreation at the time, maybe in the mid 60s, early 70s. And on his own time, he would take the school bus and load all the kids up, and they would just go to Jorododu. And yeah. But I'm not sure who that is in the picture. That's my brother John in the middle, the top row in the middle. John Deere, definitely him. So he looks like he might have been about maybe six in there. So 1962, 63 maybe. Not quite sure who the other boys are. That's my mom, Shirley Deere, what Hawi, and my sister Donna. And so that had to have been maybe 1951, 52, and it looks like on the old Malone Highway. I'm not quite sure of the house. It almost kind of looks like Freddie Kirby's house, but I'm not sure. That's my great grandmother, Marianne Phillips. That's my mother's grandmother, and the little girl is my sister Donna. My great grandmother was a excellent seamstress. They were quilt makers, all by hand, and yeah. That looks like Uncle Dominic and maybe my brother Wandy. I'm not sure. Oh, Dominic Leclerc. Uh, so I think I don't know, that's my mom's uncle. I remember she would always speak about her Uncle Dominic, and she really cared for him a lot. And but I don't know who he was married to or anything like that. So the little flower girl is my mom. Um, I found out who the woman is. She's a Lazar. I'd have to check on the old photo share. Yeah, I had posted it on the old photo share a couple of years ago, and Shelly Lazar had commented like she recognized the woman right away. It's her aunt. Ida Lazar Phillips and Phil. Shelly had just said it was her uncle Phil. So maybe that's probably Shelly's dad's sister, 'cause she kind of looks like Sunny. But the little girl is my mom. That's my great great grandparents, Joseph LeClaire and Josephine Daibo. So my great grandmother, whose picture that we saw, that's her parents. So, geez, 1800s, 18, 1830 maybe. So the little boy bottom left is my brother Wandy. The little boy, the top corner, yeah, that looks like Danny White, the late Danny White. I had that one posted too, so okay, here we go. So the two little boys next to my brother Wandy, that's Danny and the late Curry Delarone. And then on the top, it might be Jerry DeLille and Herbie Bordeaux and the late Danny White. Um, the late Ronnie Kirby on the right, and okay, what's his name? He's a deer. Gagayusta's brother. What the heck is his name? Gee whiz. His name is at the tip of my tongue. He's a deer. I'll think of it. Can we come back to it? So my brother Wandy, far left. Let me see if I had that one posted. It's my brother John at the bottom. The late Danny White on the one, two, three, the fourth. Yeah, that's the late Danny White. So that's my dad at the bottom. The bottom left. Yeah, that's my dad. As for the players, I really don't know. Look like a fun time though. Definitely one of the Kane boys. I just don't know which one. Might be Kerry. The late Kerry, or it could be Kenny. Kenny Kane. Definitely one of them. My mom and their mom were best friends. So that's definitely on Old Malone Highway. Where that car is on the right. So that's the Kellys. Because then on this side it was like this side to the right of that one. That's where Geraldine Stand-Up's family home was. And then where that white car is, that's Freddie Kirby's house right there. Yeah, most of those houses are still there, but it was some kind of parade of some sort. That's at the family swimming plot at the Seaway. Yeah, that's at the family swimming plot at the Seaway. So kind of where you know where they have that, where the lacrosse rink is, and then there's that like the reservoir. So our family plot was kind of there. The woman with the short hair is definitely my mom. And the little girl in the water with the floaty, that looks like it's my sister Karina. And I'm just not sure who the rest are. Oh, that's my dad on the left. And on the right, I'm gonna say maybe it's his late brother Henry. Oh, they both went to Spanish together. I think my dad went to Spanish when he was 6, and he came out when he was 18. And I think Henry's younger. And Henry passed away in 1960, maybe 65. He was in a bad car accident coming back from somewhere upstate New York. So definitely Old Malone Highway. You could see Freddie Kirby's house, the one with like the tower on the left. Yeah, all those houses are pretty much all still there. That's where my dad went to school, Spanish. Okay, I think I have names for this one. Let me check. Unfortunately, there's no no names. But the only comment that I have on it is that my dad and the late Ronnie Kirby were coaches. I think they coached like every kid team at the time. They just that was their life. That's what they did. The boy with the striped shirt at the end is my brother Wandy. The one with his arms crossed with the white shirt looks like it could be one of the Kane boys. And geez, maybe it's got to be in Joe Rodo. Okay, let me see if I have info on this one. No, I don't. Um, but definitely one of my dad's teams. My dad and Ronnie. So that's me, the little girl in the blue dress. And I know this was a girls' softball tournament in Oka. And that might be my sister Marianne, whose lap I'm sitting on. One of the girl at the end, yeah, right there. Maybe Erica Flo. Definitely one of the Flo girls. But yeah, that was at the Pines. They always went up there for baseball tournaments, and I believe my dad and Josie McGregor were the coaches. So definitely Joe Rododu. I love this picture. The guy with the gun pointing, that's the late Ronnie Kirby. Um, the one at the end is definitely one of the Kane boys. Maybe Kenny. Looks like Kenny. I'm not sure who the rest of the guys were, but that's one of their trips that they would take all the young kids on. That's gotta be on the bus to Joe Rododu, but I just don't know who's who. So yeah, that was my dad, the Mohawk Recreational Association. um, and a lot of times, like I remember it was on his own dime. He would take, like he did all the during the week stuff, but when it came to the weekend, it was on his own dime, and he would just pretty much take the school bus and say, "Okay, I'm taking the kids," and so that's my dad, Peter B, and my cousin Shmo, Robert Simpson. He played for Indian HL for the Atlanta Flames, and I believe it might have been like a hockey banquet they were at. Oh yeah, there you go. So that was his first year playing for the Flames. My dad was so proud of him because he was his coach for years and years. That's my dad in the middle at the little hibachi grill. It was so cool because they weren't camping or any. They were camping, but it wasn't like in a cabin. It was just like the real deal. The little boy running out of the tent, I could tell right away. That's my brother Wandy. Yeah, that's a cool picture. Definitely from Spanish. My dad's collection of pictures. I don't know anyone in it though. That's my mom. And let me check. That might be that might be the late Jamie Alfred. Yeah, that's my mom and the late Jamie Alfred. And it was from a hockey banquet. I think it was actually their first hockey banquet. And one of the comments on here was an amazing Pee Wee hockey team. They were dominant in their league and lost out at Quebec Pee Wee tournament in a close one to the eventual grand champions. So I believe that was at the old rustic restaurant in Chattagee. That's my uncle Dominic, my mother's uncle Dominic. Like I said, I really don't know too much about him. Oh, there we go. It says my dearest uncle Dominic died November 6, 1962, born February 4th, 1900. He was buried on November 9th, 1962 at the Caughnawaga Cemetery. Requiem Mass was sung at the St. Francis Xavier Mission. My dad. Definitely my dad. He was so young in here. He looked like, geez, maybe about 23, 24. That's a cool picture. Uh, that's my grandfather on the right, Louis Jagup, Louis Delabost. And that's the infamous Funzo. Anybody in my generation and on, we all know who Funzo was. and that's my mom's first cousin. And they basically grew up together. They were both spoiled, very very spoiled. That was my he was my uncle Alphonse's son, and because they owned the family owned the little grocery store, and my mom always told the story. He was the only kid that she knows of that went to residential school, and he was just too bad, and they sent him home. He was like, oh my god, there's like a million stories about Funzo. He was just on a whole other level. That's Rosalma and Leslie Bova's wedding. So she's the mom. That's the mom and dad of Fishy Bova, Roseanne. Um, my mom and Rosie are closely related. Probably like second or third cousins, but second or third cousins in Kahnawake is kind of like your first cousin. Yeah, that's their wedding. So the man I'm thinking might be my uncle Dominic, my mom's uncle Dominic. That's he kind of resembles the other pictures. Other than that, I'm really not sure. Somebody with New York plates and somebody who played lacrosse. Oh yeah, Uncle Mike, Auntie Florence. Is that Ronnie? Maybe Tommy and Baby Joe.